Good evening. I'm calling to order the March 18, 2025 meeting of the Southborough Select Board. And our illustrious chair, Kathy Cook, is in Tennessee right now and is participating by Zoom and asked me as vice chair to preside over tonight's meeting. So before we get to our first scheduled item on the agenda, which is the appointment of Joseph Berman as a full-time police officer, is there anyone who wishes to speak to public comment? We keep public comments to 3 minutes, and it's not intended as back and forth, and we limit it to items that are not on the posted agenda. Okay, so seeing none. Chief Newell, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you. I'm going to start this with an apology. Just I'm coming to the end of a cold here, so bear with me, everybody. But we're here tonight to thank you for having us, first of all. And we're requesting the board's appointment to appoint Mr. Joshua Berman to the position of full-time police officer with the Southborough Police Department. We interviewed multiple candidates for this position, and Joshua did an outstanding job on his interviews with us. He has successfully passed the background investigation, the psychological, and the physical examinations. Mr. Berman is a resident of Framingham, Mass. He currently works as a full-time police officer for Brandeis University Police Department. He has a bachelor's degree in criminal justice and a minor in psychology from Framingham State University. And we are excited to have Joshua be a part of our team. And with your expected appointment tonight, we look forward to having him start his field training program with us as a probationary officer in April next month. And a correction for the appointment letter, there's a minor correction that his effective date would be April 7th instead of tonight. At this time, do you have any questions for myself or Mr. Berman?
Kathy, any questions?
I do not. I'm glad that Mr. Berman has applied for this.
Al?
No questions. Welcome aboard. You're going to sweat a lot with these questions, I can tell you.
We're really tough. I know. Yes, welcome. Glad to have you aboard.
No questions, a strong resume, and it looks like you have a shorter commute, which is a good thing here. So thank you.
Mr. Berman, I don't have any questions for you either, but I also think you've got a great resume and you'll be a great addition to the Southborough Police Department. And it's a wonderful department to work in. You got a great chief and a lieutenant. And so we look forward to you joining the team.
Thank you.
Okay. So if you're ready I'll make a motion.
Yes.
I move that the board appoint Joshua Berman as a full-time police officer effective April 7th.
Second.
All right. Oh, okay. Well, yeah,
Roll call.
we'll do a roll call vote. Kathy?
Aye.
Al?
Aye.
Marguerite?
Aye.
Sam?
Aye.
And I'm aye as well. So congratulations.
Great. Thank you all very much.
Maybe we'll just take a quick little recess here while
I guess. All right.
okay.
Congratulations.
Okay, next item on the agenda is Chair's Report. Kathy, do you have anything under Chair's Report?
I do not.
Okay. We get a member's report from Al, I presume, on the wastewater study committee.
Yeah, we held the initial meeting of the wastewater study committee. It was quite productive. And we are in the process of applying for a one-stop grant. And the first step being an expression of interest, and we hope to have that squared away in the next week. Beyond that, got a lot of work to do. I don't know whether Sam has anything to add.
Nope, I'd concur. Good first meeting, great group, and we're moving down the road here. So exciting process.
I watched that meeting and it was an excellent substantive meeting with every single person, truly contributing something very important. So it was truly a pleasure to watch.
Okay. Next item, town administrator report.
Sure, just a couple of items. Just a quick couple of updates on some recruitments. First of all, the Senior Center Director recruitment is ongoing. Ms. Hale has been shepherding that process. I know that the group has been meeting, and I hope to have a recommendation to you for appointment sometime next week. Maybe seeking a special meeting in order for that to happen, but more to come on that next week. Also, the process for the executive director recruitment for the regional dispatch center is ongoing. I had a total of 21 applicants. The search committee, which again, I volunteered Ms. Hale for, to help with, and she's been coordinating. They have 5 candidates that they're having in for interviews later this week. Hopefully those will be coming before the board of directors in the next week or so, and we'll be looking to hopefully make a decision sometime in early April on that position. The townhouse construction project, you may have seen when you came in, we've got some machinery in the parking lot, a lot of cones. This is part of the project, the end of the townhouse project where a lot of the landscaping is happening. But we're also addressing some issues that we had with the island. The walkway out back leading up to the door for the townhouse is going to be reconstructed. And some of the grading issues with some of the water drainage in the parking lot are being taken care of as well. This is probably going to be over the next 3 to 4 weeks. John Perrin has been working with Bill Cundiff and the contractor to make sure that we're not impacting the access to the building too much. Obviously, when they do the sidewalk pour, that's going to mean that door will be closed. The front door will be open. We will have handicap accessibility through the side door over here, and we'll be shutting down the access on this side of the building to make sure that people can safely enter and exit the building. And the final item, which is more of a thinking cap item, Representative Donahue has reached out with her annual request for any items that we may like her to put into the budget process at the state level for us. It has borne a little bit of fruit, not a lot, but you can't get anything if you don't ask. So if you do have some ideas, I mean, normally these items range in the $50,000 to $100,000. And if there are some things that you think you may want to include in the list, please forward them to me. I will forward them along to the representative. And then if there is anything that they think that she thinks that she can forward and that has some traction, she'll reach back out and we'll get more details and we can provide her more information to, for the item at that time.
Could you remind us at some point what we asked for the last couple of years and didn't get? I was trying to remember. We got like a 50 or 100 for something last year, didn't we?
Yeah, I'm looking at Vanessa.
I don't remember what it was.
Do you remember
Senior
what some of the
center?
things that we had
Senior
put in?
Is that for the senior center?
Okay, not,
Yeah,
What's the
I can't-
deadline for this?
Sorry, Kathy?
What's the deadline for getting this to her?
I believe she's looking for something in the next, probably the next week or so.
I'm
Yeah.
wondering, for example, if some of the crossing things that we cut from the budget.
Yep.
That this, we're going to get the equipment, but we
Yep.
got to do the construction.
We've got to pay for the
without it.
installation of,
Yeah.
let me
Like
take,
worth
let me
putting
take a
back
look
in.
at, let me take a look at, start there with some of the things that we cut back.
And that's to me, a public safety argument, which might have some traction for.
Sure.
funding.
Okay, thank you.
And anything else that we actually cut recently? I can't remember other things there, but
Okay.
Okay. So under the consent agenda, first want to make a point of clarification on the agenda. mentions the open session meeting minutes of March 3rd. Should really be March 4th, and those are the meeting minutes that are in our packet. So with that, point of clarification, are there any holds on the consent agenda?
Hold A.
Okay. Any others? I move that the board approve consent agenda items B and C.
Second.
Okay, roll call vote. Kathy,
Aye.
Al,
Aye.
Marguerite,
Aye.
Sam,
Aye.
and I vote yes as well. So Al, I'm sorry, Sam, do you have corrections to the minutes?
February 25th.
Okay,
I have two comments. One on line 191. Pearson is misspelled P-E-A-R. Spelled properly a couple times elsewhere. And then on line 227, I was trying to remember, I think we said we're not going to return to open session, did we? It said would return to open session.
Well, we were originally not supposed to, but then we needed to approve the contract, right?
Is
But
that,
then yeah, I believe you decided not to and you put it on the next agenda. So you did. So I think Sam is correct that we did not
not
return to open
return
session.
session?
Okay, so are we still needing to approve Ryan's contract in open session? Is that where we
Yeah,
are?
No.
we did that
You
later.
did that at the-
You did that at
next
the following meeting.
Okay, all right.
So
Okay.
that's it for me.
Would not.
okay. I move that the board approve before I go there, do you have any corrections to the March 4th?
No, nope.
Okay, so I move that the board approve the February 25 open session meeting minutes as amended.
Second.
Kathy,
Aye.
Sam,
Aye.
Marguerite,
Aye.
and Al.
Aye.
Okay. And I move that the board approve the March 4, 2025 open session meeting minutes.
Second.
Sam,
Aye.
Marguerite,
Aye.
Al,
Aye.
Kathy,
Aye.
and I'm I as well. Okay, so the next item on the agenda is the most significant one, to review the warrant articles and sign the warrant for the April 7, 2025 annual town
About
meeting.
office hours.
Oh, I'm sorry. Before we get there,
Those are the most significant things.
Yeah.
Office
I
hours.
thought that's what you meant by most significant. I was going, okay, whatever.
yeah, okay, all right. I skipped that. Let's go back to the office hour schedule. So there's only two dates on here, one for May, one for June. I think as we discussed at the last meeting, you
I have a
know,
question about that though.
okay.
One of them is May 13th, which is election.
Yep, I was gonna bring that up.
So,
Right.
So I was just explaining, I think we had decided that given our town meeting schedule, not to have office hours in April.
Yep.
Okay. So I don't think it makes sense to have office hours on election day. We're talking about the annual town election, May 13th. So should we find another date for May?
I mean,
I would actually suggest that we table this until after the election, given that it would seem to be presumptive, even though right now there are only two candidates that have filed papers.
Well,
oh, but
these are dates where you can always,
whoever's on the board.
Yeah.
yeah, you just need two
Uh,
people.
Yeah.
I think we should do the 27th. Maybe it may now. When is Memorial Day? 1, 2, 3, 4. So actually, that won't be great either. That's the day after Memorial Day. So our regular meetings are the 6th and the 20th. 13th is the election. So it is kind of a bad month to do it. 27th seems to be the only one, but it is the day after Memorial Day.
I mean, we could do it like on the 14th or something,
Let's do it on Wednesday instead.
day later. Yeah.
That's fine with me.
Why don't we do that then?
Okay,
If that's the case, then I would pick not Sam and I because it's not, we've got the election to go through. So I'd pick the other three that will definitely be there.
Sure be there. Yep.
I'm happy to do it. Okay. And the other date is June 10th. Does that work for everyone?
Potentially, but I'm not sure I'm going to be here.
Okay,
Kind of with Al, it is a little presumptive for Cindy and I to raise our hand for two meetings that we have to be reelected to be able to attend. So if you
Yep.
guys want to go ahead and do it with the three of you for these two, then we can always
pencil it
switch.
in.
What if Al and I do it and then we can, what if Al and I do it on the 10th of June, just to put some names down?
No, we did May 14.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
That works.
And we're doing 6 or 6:30?
6 to
Six is
7
what we
usually.
think.
Yeah,
Seven?
6 to 7.
Yeah.
Okay,
Anyway, good. Okay.
I'm sorry, for June.
June 10 was that?
Okay.
Okay, so now we'll turn to the warrant articles. Mark distributed the most up-to-date warrant. What, around like 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock this afternoon?
Something like that, yes.
Okay. You want to give a little background on the most recent additions?
Sure. So the warrant you have in front of you is down to 37 articles. There was an addition of an article which involved the Trotter School roof schematic design that was under the capital article, but because there's specific language that the state needs for you to have, that needed to be its own separate article. So that article was broken out. That was then offset by the removal of the transfer article from the 9/11 field revolving fund to cover, to reimburse the town for the bond payments for the turf replacement. Because the DLS has said that we could do that in the wrap-up motion for the budget. And then you lost another article. So tonight CPC met and they voted to only bring forward 4 articles. They took off the article for the fire truck. That article, they said was not ready. So this is what you have in front of you. Most of this you've seen before, all of the planning language for the 2 ADU articles and the parking and loading changes to the code are final articles. And you have all of the votes that were for recommendations from Select Board and Advisory as were done either earlier by the Select Board or at the March 11th meeting with the joint meeting with advisory.
And so based on the cheat sheet, most recent version, the articles which we haven't yet taken a position on are the Article 5, the CBA, which we won't know the number associated with that until closer to town meeting. right?
Correct. So we've ratified police, we've ratified fire. We just recently reached tentative agreement earlier this week with DPW. And we are meeting with dispatch communication officers tomorrow. Hope to close everything out with them tomorrow. So my goal is to have the other 2 MOAs before the board for ratification in executive at your April 1st meeting.
So by my count, the only articles that we haven't taken a position on other than the collective bargaining are the CPC articles.
Well, that's a good segue into the next.
That
thing
is
I was
correct.
Gonna say, so does the board want to take votes on these tonight so that,
I'm ready to vote on the CPC ones and we voted on anything else. I'm not inclined to re-vote anything we've already voted on if anybody else is.
Al, does that sound good? Yeah. Okay,
Kathy, anything you want to re-vote?
No, but I do want to vote on the CPC. Those are 2 articles we really want. We want the Affordable House Trust and we want the rate. So I think it's important that we do express our support of both of those.
Yep.
In every way we can.
Yes.
okay. So I move that the select board support at town meeting Article 24.
Second.
All, Kathy,
Aye.
Al,
Aye.
Marguerite?
Aye.
And Sam?
Aye.
And I'm aye as well. I move that the board support at town meeting Article 25, the CPA adjustments.
Second.
Sam?
Aye.
In the one I'm looking at, that 25 is the railing. Microphone, Marguerite? Oh, sorry. In the one I'm looking at, it doesn't have a date on it, but it was Vanessa's most recent, and 25 is the railing.
So
Twenty-
the,
Yeah.
yeah, the one that was left on the table for you, that is the rails, that project is 26.
26, okay, thank you, all right.
Yeah, I forget to.
Your
did you-
vote.
Did you second?
I seconded.
So Al was aye, I'm aye.
Aye.
And Kathy?
Aye.
And I'm aye as well, so we support
Okay.
Article 25. Article 26 is the town common fence railing. I also just want to acknowledge here that the text of the article mentions that this was requested by select board, which it was, but it was also really a joint effort from the historical commission, and I anticipate we'll have maybe a joint presentation with historical about why we support Article 26 at town meeting. Any questions?
I'm sorry, I have the older copy of it, but it has the final revised applicate, the documentation for when the project is finished is supposed to be completed by March, and what I have is question mark, question mark, question mark 2025.
No, you don't have the correct version.
Right,
It was the version that was left on the table for
I can, you
you.
can,
Yeah.
thank you.
so maybe with that, do you want to, I mean, I'll just give a brief my own kind of summary of it. It's, from my perspective, it's fine. Our application saw it 110,000, and here the article asked town meeting to appropriate 121, which includes an additional 10% contingency fee, which I think that's prudent. So the last version we saw had a begin by date, and we had a, back and forth about that. That language is no longer there. And it's just contingent upon the project completion by June 30, 2028. And if that doesn't happen, then CPC can grant an extension for good cause. So all sounds good to me.
Me too.
Okay. I move that the board support at town meeting Article 26.
Second.
Kathy,
Aye.
Al,
Aye.
Marguerite,
Aye,
and Sam.
Aye.
Okay. And
You're aye.
Article 27 is the transfer to Affordable Housing Trust Fund. Al, do you want to speak to this? Because I know you're our representative on the trust.
This has not actually been voted on yet by the trust, but I think that the trust is broadly aligned. There's been another team that's been essentially negotiating with the CPA, and half a loaf is better than none. And this is 90% of a loaf.
Okay.
Doug Mance was at the CPC meeting the other night and did not have any comments about it.
Yeah.
I'm assuming he's okay with it.
Okay, well, in that event, I move that the board support at town meeting Article 27.
At town meeting, okay, second.
Kathy,
Aye.
Sam,
Aye.
Marguerite.
we have to wait to town meeting, we can't just vote.
What I mean is to support, we will support and have our vote reflected in advance of town meeting.
Not waiting.
Yeah.
Yes, aye.
Al?
Aye.
Okay, and I'm aye as well.
Okay.
So I think we've now voted on everything we can vote on, right?
Correct.
Correct. So can we talk about a couple of just things while we're still in the warrant, just to make sure?
Yes.
'Cause Time's gonna fly. We've only got one scheduled meeting between now and town meeting as far as our regular meetings go. So Mark, can you or Vanessa go through the articles that are select board and just, go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as far as who's going to do the motions? Like you normally do, and just assign them randomly unless someone's got one they want to do, let them know.
Sure. Well, yeah, we'll do the same as we did last year, as you just suggested. We'll have an order. We'll just run everybody through, and then, if there's a particular article that you know that you want, we can make those changes. And then again, depending on, what the moderator sets as the consent agenda, that may mean that there may be fewer articles you need to present.
Well, does it, because I know for some of these, right, we're gonna assign someone to make the motion, but they're anticipated to be on the consent agenda, right?
Right.
Does it
Yes.
make sense to identify anywhere we might need to make a presentation? Are there any you think where
Yeah,
we
let's
would?
do that next. I agree, let's do that next. But before that, the pre-town meeting is the 24th at 6 o'clock at the senior center.
Yes.
Anybody, I'm going, anybody else going to that?
I'll be attending.
Okay, all right, I mean, this to me is one of the most uncontroversial warrants I've ever seen. Okay, so there's that. I assume at that meeting, Paul will talk about consent agenda, so we'll have an idea what he's gonna include at that point. Okay,
Well,
and then, then back to Andrew as far as who's gonna make a presentation.
yeah, so the only one where, I mean, I raised my hand to volunteer to make a presentation is the Article 26, the Town Common Fence Rail Project.
I don't think there's anything else. Andrew Pfaff, well, they'll write their report to town meeting like they always do. He probably won't want to present it. If I know him, he'll probably just want to write it. So I don't know what else that there would be a presentation. Obviously, planning board will make one on the ADU and probably the parking, right? Carl Geyer will do his. Other than that, I think it's pretty routine.
And people may have some questions about some of these things, but I think we're prepared to answer any of the questions about, why are we doing this?
We should talk about the budget piece because there may be pieces of that held that we'll want to decide who's going to speak. For example, if police department's held, I think we got to have Brian Newell prepared. If fire department's held, have Chief Patini ready to go. So we should talk about some of the budget stuff that might get held and need some further explanation.
Maybe some of the DPW expenditures, but Bill is well positioned to talk about those as well.
Do you want to talk about those now or at a later meeting? I mean, we don't need to think too far ahead if someone's just going to be prepared to talk about it. It's
Right.
really, if you're going to be presenting any visuals there, the moderator sets a deadline to submit things in advance of the meeting. So you got to kind of know sooner rather than later.
Yeah, we can do that on the first very easily.
Okay,
I don't see much that requires a visual presentation
no,
kind of thing.
I don't
No,
see
but
anything.
And I think because we've run the closing of the warrants so close to town meeting this time, there's going to probably the moderator meeting on Monday, on the 24th, is going to basically, I think, give people maybe a week. Because that's going to be April 1st to get any presentations. So, but again, I agree. I don't see there's going to be a whole lot that's going to require presentation.
Vanessa's got a room set aside for us at Trottier. The town meeting starts at 7. So we should set a time that we want to be there. So again, I don't think there's a whole lot to talk about. So maybe say 6:30 for everybody to be there.
6:30,
We're starting at 6:30.
town meeting starts 6:30.
Okay, so I retract that. I thought it was 7. So then be there at 6. Be there at 6.
Yep.
I mean, I just don't see a reason to be there much before then. I don't know what we would do. So we'll post a meeting at 6 in case there's anything to talk about.
okay.
Mhm.
So I think that's it for our discussion of the warrant, right? Then the last item on the agenda before we go into executive session is scheduling a meeting with the school committee and the Neary School Building Committee. And Kathy, do you want to speak to this item?
So we are trying to do another meeting like we did on December 17th. This will be obviously the last big meeting with these groups together before the May 10th special town meeting. So this will include advisory, like it did last time, Neary Building Committee, obviously, and the K through 8 School Committee. They've all agreed on April the 3rd at 6:30 at the townhouse. It'll be a in-person meeting with Zoom capabilities. So if you can't get there, you can Zoom in, but we're hoping most people can get there. So a lot like that December 17th meeting, updates as far as what's happened between then, et cetera. And, a chance to continue to ask questions until all questions hopefully are answered. In between now, it's exactly 2 months to special town meeting, almost 2 months. It's 2 months from Saturday, this past Saturday. There's going to be a lot of special meetings held. And so Jason Malinowski is putting together a calendar that we'll distribute to everyone that shows all of the different smaller meetings that are going to take place. They're going to be very focused on either finances, site, or educational benefits. So we'll get that out so everybody can see that in case they want to attend any of those. But this will be again for the select board to ask any remaining questions, make sure you've got your facts before we take the official vote, which will take some time prior to May 10th. The other thing I wanted to say too is to remind everyone that at the annual town meeting, there will be the room, the cafeteria where parents can go with children if they want to bring them. So they can bring their children. They'll have full capabilities like they did at the special town meeting last September 30th. At the special town meeting for the school project, because of the big crowd that we are expecting, there will be daycare for children, and it's going to be run by Southborough Education, or excuse me, SEDP, the after school program. So it's going to be people that know how to take care of kids. That's what they do. So hopefully that will comfort parents to know that their children will be fine while they are in the gymnasium, which is where that meeting is going to be to attend. So there won't be the room where you can be with your kids at the special town meeting. It will be separate daycare that you can drop your kids off.
Right. Anything else to add, or does that complete our discussion of that?
I think it completes it.
Okay, well, this has been a short but productive regular
Really?
meeting.
I think we may have set a land speed
A
record.
record, that's right.
Yes.
Al, do you have a speech you can pull out to?
Okay, well, before we get into the speeches, is there anyone in the audience wishing to speak under public comment?
No, yeah.
Okay, seeing no hands raised, I move that the board enter into executive session per chapter 30A, section 21, and not return to open session to discuss strategy with respect to litigation exemption 3, as the chair has determined that an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the town's position.
Second.
I think this has to be a roll call vote. So Kathy,
Aye.
Al,
Aye.
Marguerite,
I
Sam,
Aye.
and I'm I as well. Thank you. That concludes the open session part of tonight's meeting.